most clutch moments in a trio match. So I just need to find it in here because there's a ton of replays. And yeah, this is one of, if not one of my most clutch games. First, let me just show you my teammates. This is Twitch.tv Shockskin21. He's on PS4. And here's my mate Zachmaster. At the time, I'm pretty sure he was on Xbox or PC. But let's go back to me. And we're just gonna skip ahead. To this, so we got retail, like most of the time. And yeah, we were uncontested, which is like pretty lucky. Normally you'd expect to be contested at a place like retail. So for the early game it's just whatever. As you can see, no one's around us. The closest person is probably Lazy or Katie. But even then, Katie looked uncontested, but we just watch show. So yeah, I was just looting up, doing everything you'd expect. So here I am, let me just speed it up a bit. I'll speed it up a bit more, so here I'm just getting like full marks. And at this point my teammates are looting, just getting shield and everything. Here I'm just getting loot. And then eventually we see a guy. Like on the map, a guy just shows up out of nowhere. Like, I don't know where he came from, but you'll see him in a second, so I'll slow it down a bit. Actually, no, that's a bit too far. So it's right here. And here's the footage of one of my friends, Zachmaster. He's just looting up. And then this guy, I think he's running away from Katie, coming here to reboot. And then switch back over to Zachmaster, he's just looting up and everything. And then he sees a guy, and he literally goes crazy and 90s up. So at this point, me and Sockskin, we'll just call him Kaz, we were coming over. There's me down there, and then Kaz is crash padding over. Because at this point we thought it was a full trio, but then it turned out to be a solo. So we're just trying to locate him, he's trying to run or whatever. And here's Zach puts an angle on him and cleans him up pretty quick. Now let's skip a bit. So here as we rotate, we normally go, either we swim down here, but obviously it's dangerous because we pass Katie, or we will go to this house right here, as you can see. So we normally rotate there. And this is actually a pretty good rotation from retail because you can get max break, floppers, and obviously a henchman chest, so. At this point again, there's nobody around us, we're in a good position. And then we see on the map Lazy, well, obviously we don't see him right now, but Lazy are rotating up the hill. And at this point there's also another guy, but he doesn't interfere. So Lazy's just doing their own thing. Possibly it could be Katie, which you'll find out it is. So Kaz is just here, he's just running. And then the Lazy kids are up here. Let me go into drone 3. The Lazy kids are up there, about to 3-2-1 him with like stinks, I think. So they're obviously doing that. Doing their own thing. And then if we go back into gameplay, Kaz doesn't see him obviously, and he just gets beamed. quite a late reaction, so then me and Zach are like, oh, we gotta get to him. So I'm currently sneaking up behind him because they think he's a solo. And then I double dink this kid right here. God tracking, so I tell my mate Zach I've double dinked one. And me and Kaza control Zach's keyboard, just in case you were wondering. So here I am trying to push in, and then Kaz at the other thing is crash padded away so he can heal, which obviously was a smart move, whereas me and Zach can hold him off. And then we realise, oh, it's Kaz, and one starts rushing Kaz. So Kaz ramps up and tries to heal, and I'm coming over. And at this, I think it'll always be like that. So at this moment, I just want to So at this moment, I'm just going to zoom in. We're all close together. There's Kaz down there. There's a kid in that box. There. That's where we are. And can I see my HUD? As you can see, they're split up. The two are at the back and one at the front. Then I go back to gameplay. Kaz is popping a big pot. I'm telling him he needs to build, because these guys might have snipers. So then I see Katu. I guess I just have to use drone attach. So I see Katu go up. Kaz has just finished his big pot. And I'm warning Zach that he's gone up. Zach gets hit pretty heavy for 70. Yeah, 60. And then Kaz gets hit heavy again. So I'm like, right, I need to take this guy on. Attack him 20 because that's the most attack ever does. And at this point, I'm too focused on the other guy that I do not see where the other two are. Obviously, one turns out to be them and whatnot. So when we go up here, I see this kid, but I do not see that skin running up. Obviously, these other guys there. I'm just trying to find these kids. So this is the kid with Kai. He's got 3 kills playing Gunfire. And here he dies in a moment. There's a third party just looking at us. He doesn't actually interfere that much because his team's pretty far. So here I am. I'm like doing a full-on edit course. And then if we switch over to Kaz, he's just been knocked. Put that a bit more. Obviously the kid's just getting in on him. He can't do anything, he's got to heal. Harpoon from below. So he tries to edit out and the kid's already up. So he just takes some shots, but there's 2 on him. He then goes down. So then if we switch over to Zach's perspective, this is where he gets one super low. So we're both just trying to get in on this kid because Kaz said he was one shot. Zach misses a couple of shots, tags 167 white. Well, he actually knocks him. And then here I am, 146. This is where I clutch up really hard. Get that guy one shot, and then Catty hits me for a nasty shot. So I'm like, wait, he's in my edits. But I know he doesn't even have to charge his shotgun, and I'm dead. So basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the right hand peek. So I edit the wall, and instantly, I edit the wall and I instantly move to my right. He still thinks I'm there. And I instantly... I honestly do not know what happened. I'm pretty sure it's just a bug with the replay, but I apparently shot him through the wall. Here's it again, I tagged him 75. Meanwhile, Zach's fighting the other kid, so I know this kid is low. I know he's one shot because I cracked him. Yeah, that's where I crack him, and then we'll go on a bit. That's the kid that Zach knocks, and this is the guy with shockwave, so obviously he's 1 HP pretty much. I'm down there getting the other kill, and he missed his shotgun shot. Charlie had to do C and he would have killed me. So here he is, I'll speed it up a bit. So he's probably trying to get the res off, because he knows I'm low. And then look how he sees it from his perspective. Literally cannot see me at all. It was such a good move because he literally couldn't see me. He edits, he still thinks I'm there, doesn't see me, and I click his thing. So at this point I'm all hyped up, clutching up everything. So I'm grabbing all the loot. But yeah, at this point I've got the kitty launcher, pretty much everything. There's literally nothing that I do not have. I literally have the best guns in the game, charge shotgun, kits, and at this point I'm grabbing my teammate's reboot. I'm just grabbing everything, get the kits charged, get like a ton of splashes, and I use them. Collect Zach's reboot, but then I got to go reboot him and forget Kaz's. I end up getting it though. I grab both of them a shotgun, Kaz takes a kit. So I have the burst, once I reboot him, I take the burst in the shockwave, and then Kaz takes the shotgun and Zach will take the blue tack. And I brought 3 bigs along with me. So obviously 150 and 100. So at this point, zone's coming in, so I have like 10 rockets, so I'm just using them all. So at this point I've got 10 rockets, I didn't mean a shockwave there. I'm building like mad because at this point I don't know if anyone's storm camping and trying to reboot as well. So I'm dropping all my big parts, dropping everything. And also one of them guys had a pad because they got bolt loot. So I'm like, right, drop here, there, split shotgun ammo and whatnot. I split them 15 because I only had like 30. And like 8 to the other one. Because at this point I didn't have a shotgun. So I placed the pad, I'm launching in, and they're just, well, one of them popped 2 bigs. So at this point we're just trying to rotate. I'm using my shockwave because there's another pad here. I see this AR and at this point I'm 500 AR ammo. So I tell them when there's an AR there and I'm going to split AR ammo with it, 250 or whatever. So at this point I see this fight and I'm the IGL in the trio. Zach, I'd say Kaz is like sort of the fragger and Zach's like support slash tarpo. And I'm like, do not go to the right. I've counted and there's like 2 or 3 trios. Like they just finished the fight, so that was 2 trios, and then there's another one pushing. I'm like, do not go over there, rotate to the left near the house. And obviously they go in the house because they need loot. Like look, if we rotated over there, that would be a 4-way fight. We would be so screwed. So then I see a shot, so I mean I take it because I need it. So I tell them let's rotate down here so we can get mats, because if you don't know, at that patch right there, there's a ton of wood. That's what makes the shadow base so good, is you can get max mats. So they're at this point, they're asking for mats, they're spawning with wood, they don't need any. I'm like, right, here you go Zach, take that. And take that, and then I'm like, Kaz, take this, take this. At this point Kaz is 150 and Zach's 100. And then I tell them all of us farm up, and there's some bandages there for Zach, so he's 150 as well. Like, just farm up, heal up, we all pop some bandages. I split like pretty much all ammo. I'm just like heal up, do whatever. They're breaking the truck, so I see these 2. At this point I didn't know they were there. I see them 2 and I'm like, I was actually initially thinking, let's go to the house so we can loot up, but saw them 2 there pushing other kids, so I'm like, do not go over there. So at this point our loot's pretty scuffed. We all have shotguns, but not all of us have ARs. And at this point, I actually can't see them. I thought I saw them, but so yeah. So I'm just like loot up, do everything. There is 9 teams, so we're about to get top here. I'm in champ, so we lose 60, and then division 7, 24. So we're so close to placement. I'm just telling them stay alive. A couple more people will die, and we'll get placement. Because look at this. This is where things start to, where people just start dying. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 5 or 6 trios there. So Zach's rotating. Let me slow this down now. And obviously there's still a team because we're going for the drop. We're shooting it out and whatever. And Zach gets beamed. So I switch to his perspective. So he's just rotating, doing his own thing. That guy runs up. He's looking behind because he hears kind of shooting for the drop. He sees that kid and he's like, kids on me, kids on me. So at this point, he sees that one, but he doesn't know there's a third. So I'm like, oh, is it a duo? And he's like, yeah. Which it wasn't, but not his fault. So I'm coming over. Kaz is reloading his AR because he wasted a ton on the drop. So I'm rotating. I use the shockwave up here to sort of scare him, and I don't know what happened to the lights. I'm like, I'm a shockwave up so I can scare him a bit. Let him know that we've got kits and things. Obviously, they're probably thinking they've landed Catty and got all the vault loot. They're probably stacked. So I pad over, not pad, shockwave. At this point, Kaz has just arrived and Zach's staying there. Because obviously there's a kid on him underneath him. So there's 2 on me. I tell him, don't worry, I've got this. So I go up. I can already tell by the way they're playing. I know the fish stick is terrible because he's been boxed up whilst his teammate is going. So they're like, oh, it's only 1 on me. And obviously there's 2 on me, so I shockwave to make it a 3 versus 1. So this Psycho Penny is screwed. So we literally, I said, let's stick together. Obviously Zach is 100 HP and Kaz is 150, and I'm basically 100. So I see a kid right there. Oh, I hit him 137, and at this point, I'm saying target this dark skin. So Kaz ends up getting the knock, I think. No, Zach does. So Zach's is trying to hold him off whilst I get in and Kaz finishes him. Kaz accidentally throws him. So we're like, so I'm telling them, we win this, it's a 3v2. So obviously they're going to start playing a bit more passive. I get hit quite a bit, so I'm like, I need minis. And I knew one of them had minis. And also Zach needs AR. So I thought one of them had minis, but it turned out not. Kaz pushed in by himself. Not his fault, obviously, it's a 3v2, he stood a chance. But he gets in, and Zach gets this kid down to 1 shot, and I knock my kid. So I'm on a ton of HP, and that kid is 1 shot. Well, was, but he healed, because he got both their kills. So he was like 150 or something, but he killed them. So I hit a nasty shot right here for 132, but he hits me for 100. So I'm just rushing in, because I know I'm pretty much not 1 shot. I hear the reboot, it's whatever. So what I should have done, well, not really, but I knew this kid was low, but also I was low, so we were both 1 shot. But no matter what, even if he popped minis, he'd still be 1 shot, but I wouldn't. So he's going back to get the kit's charge or whatever. If I would have died, I would have blamed it all on that shot. Now I'm stuck because I'm in his edits. I'm not using my shotgun that well. I hear that he goes out. I grab their reboots. But then I realised I'm not going to grab the other, there's no point, I can't use reboot van. So I see the drop's health, and I know it's landed in a tree. And then later on I hear him break the tree. So I'm just hiding here, waiting to see what he does. Now I got to ramp up, because I think he's on height. But turns out he's going for the drop. Like, I see these builds, and I know where he's going. He grabs the drop. And obviously he gets a pad, I know he has a pad, but I'm out of rockets at this point, so I'm just trying to get in. I got attack instead, because why not? And I'm forcing him to make his pad, otherwise we're both dead. So I'm pretty much forcing him to use his pad. He messes up, I should have shot him here. He gets a few shots on me. At this point, I'm like, alright, I'm going to leave this kid alone, he's a solo. We got top 8 at this point, so... At this point, I actually had to go because I was going to get some dinner. And I'm just like, alright boys, we've got top 8. We got 6 kills. So I'm just going to W key. And then like, nah, play out trust. So I do what they say. So I'm literally rotating. I know that's a whole trio like in that build right there. But I know, like, they're not the best players because they're boxing out of wood. They're literally in center zone, boxing out of wood, and that's like one of the worst things you can do. So obviously, I see this fish stick. I know he's a solo, so I know that's one solo. I think that could. So I'm like counting all these players. I'm like, there's a trio there. There's a couple of kids up there. There's a solo down there. I'm just trying to find out where everyone is. At this point, I'm just moving around doing some dances, getting in zone. So at this point, I'm super weak, but I got zone. So I'm just going up, trying to farm this tree. Obviously, you can't farm the leaves, so I break this. And this is where I start to pop off. This is where the majority of my kills come from. I'm trying to think. That's a solo down there. That's another trio. So I'm like, that's a trio. Trying to see if them kids will peek. I know that's a trio. I know there's like some more kids back there. I'm like, alright, and that's a trio. So I'm like, that's 3 kids. That's 3. That's 3. That's 9. Then I'm guessing that's another trio back there to make it 12. So I'm like the only solo. But what I didn't know is that there was another solo and a duo. So I get a free beam on this kid. I'm like just trying to get some cheeky beams. So I know that kid's obviously going to heal because 2 people can hold for him. But I'm trying to get impact so I can get some more rockets and yeah. My mats at the moment, I don't know how to show up, but I have like quite a bit. I need to work out how to use replay mode next time. So I'm just trying to get tags on these kids. So I see that kid get cracked, so I tag him 37 white. And at this point, I know I could possibly kill him. And I saw his teammate go up and leave him alone. So I see this kid. I knock him, and his zone was coming in. There's no way they get the res off. So that's where one kill comes in. And I mark that, and it's Ocean's Burst. So I know that team has Ocean's loot. But obviously, Fortilla is nowhere near the best mythic spot. And I know someone has the charge shotgun because I saw that guy die in the kill feed. At this point, I'm seeing these kids get sprayed. I almost let that RPG through, and I'm just getting beams on these kids. I knocked that one kid. They try to go for the res, but it's almost impossible to get off a res in moving zones. So I see that kid go up, and his teammate crawls out because his teammate's probably screaming for a res. Get a kill on him, and I see some sort of mythic down there. At this point, I'm trying to rotate. And I know so many kids are low, because I can hear this guy down here popping flops. And obviously, minis. So I know that kid's weak. I'm obviously just memeing around because I didn't actually think I could make anything out of this game. I see a kid's charge, but I figured at this point, attack might be better since I'm a solo. I look for rockets because the guy's an RPG, he doesn't have any. So I crash pad, I just keep crash padding into zone. I messed up at this point, but I had another crash pad. That crash pad saved my life, but almost killed me. This kid was brain dead, so I just ran up. Got a free beam, there's a kid there. So I know this kid's one shot tagged him like 125. Free kill on him. I see that he has rockets, but they fell. If I could have got him, I could have got a bit more kills. Grab the chug splashes, obviously saved my life. I see these kids fighting in zone, so I decide to finish that kid because I think the guy that killed him died. I see that kid launch up there. So I'm just like, alright, I'm gonna push him. And this is where the kills start coming in. This kid was terrible. I came like 20, get a lucky headshot. And like, I mean lucky because there's no way I was, yeah. My friends are telling me, there's rockets. And at this point, I'm just full on tunnel vision. I don't see the rockets. And then I see Grapple Kid, and I hit him with my burst, and that's how I won the game. So, the big takeaway from this is, we got like how many kills did I have? At the end I had 8, so we got a 12 kill dub. And you don't have to land somewhere like Catty to do that. Obviously if you land Catty or Authority, you're obviously going to get like a 20 bomb. But in a tournament, if you just need a quick game, it's like 2 points per kill. And then, like, you don't have to land somewhere, because we've tried that before. We've tried landing like Authority, and we always die off early game. The chances of you making we make out of retail pretty much every single time, and the most players that land retail is 2 trios. So we weren't planning for a WK game. We normally play for placement. So obviously, like, you don't have to land somewhere big to thingy. And another thing is, make sure you have your set things, because I'm the IGL, I'm the smartest player on the team, and Zach's like one of the best mechanical players. Like, Kaz and Zach are better mechanically, I'd say. Like, but like, I made another game. We were rotating our usual place where we go down, and I tell Kaz, you need to stop, because I see a team running to Lazy. So I knew that was Kai team. But if Kaz was on his own, he probably would have kept rotating and died to Kai. So yeah. But Kaz also told me that he sees people and that he's going to try beam one, and I tell him not to. Obviously, last time Zon was like here, so we would have got held by Kai. And yeah, just scrolling down the list. So we actually got a huge game from this. And then I was basically crowned the best player in our trio because I clutched up. Like, it was literally just me. Not like, it was literally just me at the end game. If I wish I could have rebooted, but reboot van got used. And these kids griefed our game. So I had to go lazy and reboot. That was a mess. And then later on, like here, where it was this kid griefed our game. I really wanted to reboot, but it'd be a 5 tick. And obviously we'd get held. And like, my teammates were saying I should maybe reboot, but they didn't hear the reboot thing and I did, so I knew it was impossible to get a reboot off. How far Zone was, I had 0 rockets, and I didn't have a pad, so we would have been dead and we would have got held. So the takeaway from this video is, make sure you have set roles for your team. Make sure there's a Tarper, a Fragger, and an IGL. And make sure support or Tarper is the second IGL. So if the IGL dies, the Tarper or support will be the next IGL. And just because you're set to a role, just because like Kaz was Fragger, doesn't mean that I can't get kills. It just means that he gets a majority of them. Like, yeah, one right now.